Tony was visiting his girlfriend's parents for the first time, but was stunned to see memorial portraits of them on the table. Even stranger, the elderly couple looked pale and lifeless, and their clothes seemed to come from a century ago. The father explained that it was actually a photo of his own father when young. Just then, Tony looked up and saw a huge spider on the ceiling. He screamed in fear, but his girlfriend insisted there was nothing there. When he looked again, the spider had vanished. Only an old cobweb swayed gently in the breeze. The father said he must be tired and imagining things, then turned to scold the maid for not cleaning properly. The maid quickly went to tidy up, and brought over a cup of tea. But when Tony lifted the lid, he found a spider inside. His scalp tingled with fear, and he asked why there were so many spiders in the house. The mother replied coldly, "That deep in the mountains, insects often got in, probably because the servants were lazy." The explanation seemed plausible, so Tony let down his guard and went upstairs to rest, only to find there was no electricity in the room. His girlfriend suddenly appeared behind him, startling him again. She explained the house was too remote, and they didn't have power, so she brought him an oil lamp. She said her parents really liked him, and hoped he would stay a few more days to discuss marriage. Tony nervously asked how much they expected for a bride price, but the girl said not only would they ask for nothing, they would even offer a dowry of 10,000 silver coins. Tony was confused. No one used silver coins anymore. She explained that they were old collectibles, and could fetch a high price. Tony was overjoyed and leaned in for a kiss, but suddenly felt stomach pain. He rushed downstairs for the bathroom, and caught sight of the maid laughing at the ancestral portraits, muttering that she had been punished by the master and madam for her mistakes. Tony was shocked. He stepped forward and told the maid he'd plead for her, but her face suddenly twisted in anger, and she warned him not to meddle. Then, seeing that Tony was kind-hearted, she gave him 3 pieces of advice. First, never go to the backyard. Second, go up to the attic if he got the chance. Third, never sleep with the young lady, or he would lose his life. Tony asked why he should believe her, but the maid told him that he would hear chains clanging at night, and the young lady in red would bring him watermelon juice, and under no circumstances should he drink it. Then she urged him to return to his room, before the young lady got suspicious. That night, Tony was woken by the sound of chains. Along with faint cursing, he got up to look outside, but his girlfriend suddenly tapped him from behind. She was wearing a red nightgown, holding a glass of watermelon juice. She said the noise was from the animals being punished in the backyard, and asked if he wanted to take a look. Tony immediately remembered the maid's warning, and declined. She handed him the watermelon juice, saying he could drink it before bed. Tony, recalling the maid's words, refused again, and lay back down pretending to sleep. The next morning at breakfast, the mother served him a bowl of pork rib soup, but after one sip, he found a fingernail in it. He almost vomited. The maid was called over, and quickly explained she had accidentally cut herself while chopping vegetables, but when Tony looked at her hand, the wound was clearly fresh. There was no way the fingernail had landed in the soup from that. That night, Tony got thirsty, and in a daze, drank a cup of watermelon juice brought by his girlfriend. Only after drinking it, did he remember the warning. He immediately passed out. When he woke up the next day, he went downstairs, but the maid stopped him, saying she knew he didn't resist. Tony was shocked and asked how she knew. The maid told him to look in the mirror. He did.